There is something magnetic about a machine that knows exactly what it wants to be. Not the loudest or flashiest, not chasing trends or trying to impress every rider on the road, just a confident expression of purpose. Some machines find their audience through performance figures or record-breaking power. Others find it through feel, through the subtle connection between throttle, seat, and heartbeat. What happens when a familiar name returns after years away, reborn for a generation that values both nostalgia and refinement? That is where the story begins. Because sometimes, the most compelling comeback is not about speed or flash, it is about rediscovering soul in a modern frame. Today we explore one of those stories, a name long trusted in the cruiser world, brought back with precision, restraint, and a fresh sense of confidence. If you love exploring how design, engineering, and emotion collide on two wheels, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment which classic comeback you want to see next. The Honda Shadow Phantom 2024 enters the stage with a quiet confidence that feels earned. This is not a radical redesign or a marketing gimmick meant to chase trends. It is a deliberate return to form for one of Honda's most beloved cruisers. The Shadow Phantom has always stood for simplicity and balance, an antidote to excess in a world that often rewards extremes. To understand what makes the 2024 version special, we first need to trace the line of evolution that got us here. The Shadow series began in the early 1980s, when Honda decided to reinterpret the American cruiser for riders who valued reliability as much as style. That decision launched a long lineage of V-twin motorcycles that became known for their bulletproof engines and approachable handling. The Phantom name arrived later, carving out its own identity as the stealthy, blacked-out member of the family. Where other Shadows carried chrome and shine, the Phantom chose matte finishes, minimal ornamentation, and an attitude that spoke softly but carried presence. By the time production paused, the Phantom had built a loyal following among riders who preferred smooth torque over spectacle. Bringing it back in 2024 was not a decision Honda made lightly. It required balancing the essence of what made the Phantom loved with the demands of modern riding. The new Honda Shadow Phantom 2024 keeps its 745 cubic centimeters liquid-cooled V-twin engine, a proven power plant that emphasizes torque delivery over top-end rush. What changed is how it feels under your seat. The engineers refined throttle mapping and fuel injection for smoother, more linear response. The result is a ride that encourages relaxed cruising but responds instantly when you ask for more. Its 5-speed gearbox remains, but shifts are cleaner and less clunky, a small improvement that makes a big difference in city traffic and long highway stretches alike. The frame geometry has been subtly revised, and the suspension is now tuned for greater comfort without losing the low-slung stance that defines the Phantom silhouette. At just over 540 pounds wet, it is not light, but its center of gravity remains low enough that even newer riders find it easy to manage at slow speeds. Those design priorities reveal a consistent philosophy: build confidence first, performance second. In terms of design, the Honda Shadow Phantom 2024 continues to champion understatement. Its matte black paint, spoked wheels, and bobbed fenders still look purpose-built, but closer inspection reveals refinements everywhere. The LED lighting is brighter yet cleanly integrated, the seat has been reshaped with better padding and slightly improved ergonomics. Even the instrument cluster, still analog in spirit, adds subtle digital functionality. It feels familiar but refined, a kind of design evolution that rewards those who look closer rather than those seeking instant flash. Honda could have gone the easy route, layering on chrome or chasing the bulky lines that dominate some modern cruisers, but the Phantom's charm lies in its restraint. Every surface serves the same visual theme: low, dark, and deliberate. On the road, that philosophy translates to a ride that feels composed and confident. The V-twin's deep pulse gives it character without excessive vibration, and the sound, quiet but present, matches its aesthetic. It is a bike that communicates through feel, not volume. Around town, the Shadow Phantom 2024 glides through traffic with ease. Its clutch engagement is smooth, and its throttle control predictable. On open roads, it maintains steady torque delivery through mid-range revs, making passing effortless and cruising speed comfortable. You do not ride the Phantom to chase redlines, you ride it to find rhythm. The handling remains stable in corners, thanks to that low center of gravity and well-tuned suspension. It does not dive aggressively into turns, but it rewards smooth, deliberate inputs. For riders who prefer calm precision over constant adjustment, this is a bike that listens. But bringing back a classic like the Honda Shadow Phantom 2024 is about more than specs, it is about identity. Over the years, the cruiser landscape has changed dramatically. High-performance muscle bikes, adventure hybrids, and retro customs now share the same roads that once belonged almost exclusively to chrome-heavy cruisers. In that context, the Phantom's return feels almost rebellious in its simplicity. It refuses to chase trends, it reasserts what made the category timeless in the first place: comfort, approachability, and visual unity. Yet, that same choice raises questions about where the Shadow fits in the modern motorcycle world. Can a bike built on classic values stay relevant in an era obsessed with horsepower, screens, and data-driven design? Honda's answer is yes, but not by imitation. Instead, the Phantom embraces the idea that authenticity can still be a modern virtue. One key factor in that authenticity is accessibility. The seat height of the Honda Shadow Phantom 2024 sits at around 25.8 inches, making it inviting for a wide range of riders. The ergonomics place the rider slightly forward, with mid-mounted pegs that avoid the overextended leg position of larger cruisers. The handlebars are low and wide, promoting stability and confidence at low speeds. This comfort-first geometry means long rides remain enjoyable, and even shorter commutes feel natural. Honda's attention to usability extends to maintenance as well. The shaft drive system, a staple of the Shadow lineage, continues to deliver smooth, low-maintenance performance that spares riders the upkeep of a chain. In the cruiser segment, that feature alone earns loyalty. The 3.7-gallon fuel tank and efficient V-twin combine for solid range, making it practical for weekend trips and daily commutes alike. It is a design that feels both nostalgic and smartly current. Yet, the Phantom's true evolution lies in the small refinements that change how it feels in motion. The 41mm front fork and twin rear shocks have been recalibrated for better damping, absorbing road imperfections while preserving composure in turns. Braking has improved too, with a 296mm front disc paired with a 180mm rear, now equipped with standard ABS. That addition alone gives the 2024 model a major confidence boost, especially for newer riders. These updates may sound subtle, but they transform how the bike behaves under pressure. It feels more planted under braking, more responsive during quick transitions, and more forgiving over rough pavement. The engineering team clearly sought to modernize without alienating the Phantom's core audience. It is still simple, it is just better executed. When we talk about cruisers, style always plays a central role, but what truly matters is how that style supports the ride experience. The Honda Shadow Phantom 2024 achieves a rare harmony between design and function. Its matte surfaces are not just visual choices, they reduce glare in direct sunlight and age gracefully compared to high-gloss finishes. The minimal use of chrome simplifies upkeep and preserves the stealth aesthetic. Even the exhaust layout, with dual pipes running low and clean, reinforces its grounded stance. Riders who appreciate detail notice how consistent the design language is. Nothing feels added for the sake of attention. It is cohesive, almost architectural in its intent. The Honda Shadow Phantom 2024 tells a story that goes beyond the motorcycle itself. It reflects the evolution of rider expectations over the last decade. The landscape it returns to is very different from the one it left. In the early 2010s, cruisers were largely defined by displacement and attitude. Big engines, long wheelbases, and loud styling dominated the scene. But the years since have reshaped the market. Younger riders have entered with new priorities: practicality, comfort, and individuality without excess. This shift forced every manufacturer to reconsider what a cruiser should be. The Honda Shadow Phantom 2024 arrives as a response to that redefinition. It keeps the soul of a classic cruiser but interprets it through precision rather than bravado. To see how this transformation works, we can start with engineering philosophy. Honda is known for discipline in design. Every component serves purpose first, aesthetics second. On the Honda Shadow Phantom 2024, that approach manifests in how the mechanical and ergonomic elements integrate. The 745 cubic centimeters V-twin, though not the most powerful in its class, produces torque where riders actually use it, at low and mid revs. It is tuned to deliver steady pull rather than sudden bursts, which makes riding more fluid and predictable. The result is a cruiser that feels friendly yet substantial, capable of relaxed city rides or longer weekend escapes without ever feeling underpowered. This is where Honda quietly excels, not by chasing performance extremes, but by perfecting usability. The riding position of the Honda Shadow Phantom 2024 plays a major role in its character. Many modern cruisers lean into exaggerated forward controls and stretched handlebars, creating a look that sacrifices ergonomics for style. Honda resisted that temptation. The Phantom's neutral triangle, slightly forward but balanced, keeps weight centered over the bike. That design choice changes everything about how it rides. It allows precise control at low speeds, less fatigue on long trips, and a more natural sense of command when maneuvering. It also subtly broadens the Phantom's appeal to riders who might otherwise avoid cruisers due to their reputation for awkward ergonomics. This is how Honda modernizes tradition, by preserving the aesthetic while quietly fixing its flaws. The Honda Shadow Phantom 2024 also rethinks the idea of mechanical involvement. In an era where many bikes now feature ride-by-wire systems, traction control, or selectable modes, the Phantom remains refreshingly analog. Its response depends entirely on your input. Some might see that as a limitation, others see it as purity. There is a growing movement of riders who crave that unfiltered connection, who want to feel the mechanics rather than delegate control to algorithms. The Phantom provides that experience without punishing the rider. The engine's smooth delivery and the bike's stable geometry make it approachable, yet its responsiveness rewards skill. It manages to serve both newcomers and seasoned riders through balance, not compromise. But even as the Honda Shadow Phantom 2024 stays true to analog simplicity, it does not ignore modern expectations for safety and quality. The addition of ABS was essential, and Honda's tuning ensures it intervenes gently without disrupting feel. The build quality, fitment of panels, finish of metal surfaces, precision of welds, remains exemplary. Honda's manufacturing consistency gives the Phantom a durability reputation few can match. That durability has always been part of the Shadow identity. Many earlier models are still running strong decades later, which builds brand trust that marketing alone could never achieve. By continuing that legacy, the 2024 Phantom speaks directly to those who value longevity over novelty. What truly defines the 2024 version, however, is its tone. It does not shout about performance figures or advanced electronics, it speaks through refinement. When you ride it, the sense of harmony between engine, frame, and suspension feels almost effortless. That ease is deceptive, it hides countless hours of testing and tuning. Honda engineers spent time not to reinvent the Phantom, but to make it invisible in operation. Every movement, starting, shifting, cornering, feels natural, predictable, and unforced. That is not excitement in the traditional sense, it is satisfaction born of precision. And in today's motorcycle world, that kind of satisfaction is rare. To understand the Phantom's re-emergence, we should also consider cultural context. Cruiser culture in America has changed. It is no longer dominated by image or rebellion, it has matured into something more personal and diverse. Riders come from all backgrounds, and many are less concerned with projecting toughness than with finding joy in the ride itself. The Honda Shadow Phantom 2024 fits perfectly into this new mindset. Its subdued design and approachable performance invite inclusion rather than exclusivity. It feels accessible without feeling generic. That is a difficult line to walk, and Honda manages it through authenticity. The company does not market the Phantom as something it is not. It simply presents it as what it has always been, a dependable, soulful companion for the open road. Even so, bringing back the Honda Shadow Phantom 2024 was not without risk. The cruiser market is smaller than it once was, and competition from other motorcycle types is fierce. Adventure bikes now dominate the middleweight segment, retro standards have surged in popularity, even electric motorcycles are starting to claim attention. In that context, a traditional cruiser might seem outdated. But Honda saw opportunity where others saw decline. By focusing on refinement rather than reinvention, the Phantom becomes a kind of anchor in a rapidly changing landscape. It reminds riders that technology should serve emotion, not replace it. That insight is what makes the Phantom relevant today. Let us look deeper at what makes the Honda Shadow Phantom 2024 stand apart from more aggressive or tech-heavy bikes. The simplicity of its mechanical layout fosters trust. There are no complex menus to navigate, no dependency on software updates. Maintenance remains straightforward. Oil changes, brake servicing, and valve checks follow accessible intervals, and the shaft drive system reduces upkeep compared to chain-driven rivals. This predictability contributes to peace of mind, especially for riders who see their motorcycle as long-term companionship rather than a disposable purchase. That sense of permanence carries emotional weight, it is what transforms ownership into attachment. The sound of the Honda Shadow Phantom 2024 deserves attention too. It is not loud or dramatic, but tuned for depth and warmth. The exhaust note is mellow, rhythmic, and calm, more heartbeat than roar. That soundscape reinforces the Phantom's character as a companion for reflection rather than competition. It is a motorcycle that asks you to match its tempo, to find stillness in motion. This quality resonates deeply with riders who see the act of riding as a form of therapy, a chance to disconnect from constant noise. The Honda Shadow Phantom 2024 carries weight far beyond its spec sheet. It represents a strategic message from Honda about where the company sees the future of motorcycles. In a time dominated by innovation races and electronic arms buildups, the Phantom's return signals a deliberate slowdown, a reminder that evolution does not always mean complexity. Honda understands that the core experience of motorcycling is emotional, not digital. That philosophy gives the Shadow Phantom 2024 a kind of quiet power in a market filled with constant reinvention. The timing of its return is no coincidence. The past few years have seen riders reevaluate what they want from their machines. Economic shifts, urban density, and environmental concerns have changed priorities. Riders now look for reliability, efficiency, and versatility without losing emotional connection. Honda read this transition carefully. By bringing back the Shadow Phantom, they did not just resurrect a name, they reasserted a design philosophy centered on balance. It is not about rejecting progress, but about curating it, choosing which technologies serve the rider and which distract from the ride. That distinction shapes the Phantom's entire identity. Within Honda's lineup, the Shadow Phantom 2024 fills a crucial gap. It offers a true cruiser experience without the price or intimidation of large displacement bikes. For years, Honda's cruiser segment was quiet, overshadowed by the rise of sport tourers and adventure machines. The Phantom's reintroduction reestablishes that category, reminding the market that simplicity still sells when executed with precision. It also reinforces Honda's mastery of consistency. The company has long built a reputation for mechanical reliability, now it adds emotional continuity to that legacy. The Phantom shows that a product can evolve without losing its center. There is a strategic depth to this move. The cruiser segment may no longer dominate global sales, but it holds symbolic power in the United States and other markets that value tradition. By reviving the Honda Shadow Phantom 2024, Honda maintains cultural presence in a segment tied to heritage and identity. That presence matters because it keeps the brand relatable across generations. Even if many buyers now gravitate towards sport or adventure models, the Phantom serves as a touchstone, proof that Honda still understands the timeless appeal of the open road at an unhurried pace. The Phantom's impact extends to design language as well. Its restrained aesthetic contrasts sharply with the aggressive, angular designs common in newer motorcycles. This difference is not just visual, it reflects a shift in philosophy. Where many bikes express speed and dominance, the Honda Shadow Phantom 2024 expresses calm and confidence. That message resonates in subtle ways. It signals that sophistication can exist without spectacle, that craftsmanship can replace flash. As other manufacturers compete for attention through bold statements, Honda wins quiet respect through consistency. That respect translates into long-term loyalty, something far more valuable than fleeting buzz. The emotional response to the Honda Shadow Phantom 2024 also speaks to a larger trend in the rider community, a desire for authenticity. Many enthusiasts have grown weary of constant technological escalation. They seek bikes that feel real, machines that engage rather than automate. The Phantom fits this craving perfectly. It provides tactile feedback, audible rhythm, and visual simplicity. In doing so, it becomes more than a motorcycle, it becomes a form of grounding. Riders find in it a connection to something pure and enduring. Honda anticipated that shift and delivered it at the right moment. Yet, this return also challenges Honda to evolve its brand storytelling. The company's reputation for reliability is strong, but emotional engagement has not always been its strongest suit. The Honda Shadow Phantom 2024 offers an opportunity to change that. Its imagery, matte black surfaces, low stance, steady rhythm, conveys feeling without words. It invites riders to project themselves onto it, to imagine their own stories along quiet highways and evening rides. That emotional accessibility broadens Honda's identity, making it more human and relatable. In a market increasingly driven by narrative, that shift is as important as the mechanical design itself. Looking ahead, the Phantom's success could influence Honda's future cruiser and standard models. If riders respond positively to this balance of classic design and refined execution, it may inspire similar approaches in other categories. We could see the same principles, restraint, usability, tactile connection, applied to mid-range standards or sport cruisers. In that sense, the Honda Shadow Phantom 2024 serves as a blueprint, not just a product. It demonstrates that heritage and innovation can coexist when guided by clarity rather than excess. Honda's engineers and designers can use this platform as a testbed for future development rooted in emotional logic. The Phantom also sets a cultural precedent. Its reception proves that riders still value legacy if it feels relevant. Nostalgia alone does not sustain interest, meaningful reinterpretation does. The Honda Shadow Phantom 2024 achieves that balance through its careful blend of memory and modernity. Older fans see the familiar V-twin silhouette and understated grace they remember. Newer riders see a refined, confident motorcycle that fits contemporary lifestyles. This cross-generational bridge transforms the Phantom into a cultural connector. It unites rather than divides, and that inclusivity gives it lasting appeal. On the road, the Honda Shadow Phantom 2024 becomes an experience defined by rhythm. The slow, steady pulse of the engine encourages a different kind of riding, measured, mindful, immersive. It invites riders to appreciate motion itself rather than chase adrenaline. That approach aligns perfectly with current social shifts. More people now view riding as meditation rather than competition. The Phantom supports that mindset by delivering control without stress. Its throttle response, braking feel, and handling feedback create flow. That flow is what keeps riders coming back long after the excitement of a new purchase fades. Honda's engineers clearly understood that sensory harmony matters as much as horsepower. Every vibration, every gear engagement, and every note from the exhaust contributes to an overall texture of calm precision. That level of tuning is what separates the Honda Shadow Phantom 2024 from generic cruisers. It is not merely assembled, it is composed. Each element interacts to form an experience greater than the sum of its parts. When a bike reaches that level of cohesion, it transcends category boundaries. It stops being just a cruiser and becomes a universal expression of balance. From a broader industry perspective, the Phantom's success story could influence how manufacturers view product cycles. Instead of constant reinvention, brands might rediscover value in refinement. Updating classics with purpose rather than trend chasing can sustain engagement while controlling costs. The Honda Shadow Phantom 2024 exemplifies that approach. It is new enough to feel fresh, familiar enough to feel trustworthy. That sweet spot is increasingly rare, and Honda has shown how to reach it through patient, thoughtful engineering. The Honda Shadow Phantom 2024 stands as more than a motorcycle. It is a reflection of how design, heritage, and culture can align to create something enduring. Its return marks a full-circle moment for Honda and for riders who believe that simplicity, when done right, carries more meaning than complexity. Over these last decades, the Shadow series has seen trends come and go, aggressive redesigns, technology waves, entire categories rise and fade. Yet, the Phantom's reappearance proves that the fundamentals of good motorcycling never change. A bike that feels right, fits naturally, and looks quietly confident will always find its audience. That is the lesson the 2024 model reinforces with every mile. For owners, the Honda Shadow Phantom 2024 delivers what many modern machines overlook: predictability and peace of mind. It asks for little, gives much, and grows with you instead of outpacing you. Its low seat, responsive handling, and proven engine invite you to ride farther, not faster. That shift, from competition to connection, is where the Phantom's true impact lies. Riders rediscover joy in the ride itself, the kind that builds trust between human and machine. Every shift, every curve, every steady pull of torque creates rhythm. That rhythm becomes part of your day, your memory, your identity as a rider. Few motorcycles achieve that, fewer sustain it over generations. The Phantom does both. On a cultural level, the Honda Shadow Phantom 2024 reclaims the cruiser's soul for a modern world. It reminds us that character does not come from loud styling or massive displacement, it comes from coherence. The Phantom is not trying to be anything other than what it is: a confident, reliable cruiser with purpose in every detail. That honesty resonates in a time when authenticity is rare. For new riders, it serves as a gateway into the cruiser experience without fear or pretense. For longtime enthusiasts, it feels like an old friend returning home, slightly wiser, perfectly composed. Honda managed to create something that bridges those emotions naturally, and that is why the Phantom's comeback matters. From a design standpoint, the Honda Shadow Phantom 2024 demonstrates how timeless principles can be updated without compromise. Good proportions, thoughtful ergonomics, and functional beauty never age. Honda's subtle modern touches, ABS, LED lighting, refined suspension, add safety and comfort while preserving analog charm. Nothing feels forced. Everything serves the same goal: ride quality and confidence. The outcome is a motorcycle that feels equally at ease parked on a city street or gliding down a rural highway at sunset. It is a cruiser for real life, not a showroom fantasy. For Honda, the success of the Phantom's return reinforces a broader truth: innovation and tradition can coexist when guided by respect. This model is not a nostalgic replica, it is a conversation between past and present. It tells every engineer, designer, and rider that progress does not require abandoning identity. The Honda Shadow Phantom 2024 honors its roots not by staying still, but by moving forward with clarity. In doing so, it gives Honda a template for how to revive other legends in the years ahead: faithful, functional, and quietly confident. For the riders who will call the Phantom their own, the reward is simple but lasting. It is the moment you settle into the saddle, turn the key, and feel that deep, familiar pulse. The first corner that reminds you why balance matters more than speed. The first long stretch of road where everything feels exactly right. That is the gift of a machine built with restraint and care. It does not demand attention, it earns it over time. The Honda Shadow Phantom 2024 may not chase the spotlight, but its legacy will outlast many that do. Because when a motorcycle finds its perfect rhythm, it becomes more than transportation, it becomes a companion. And in that sense, the Phantom's return is not an ending, but a continuation of a journey that began decades ago and still runs strong today. End.